Hey everybody, Mr. May here, Dillon May here. Welcome to Back to School Night. We're talking pre-calculus right now. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Here's a little outline I got for us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, introduce myself. We're going to talk about pre-calculus, how the class is organized, what the class is about, as well as where you can find our classroom materials. Then I'm going to touch on Infinite Campus, and then a little bit about what you can do as a parent. So, a little bit about me. Sorry for the laggy video feed. I got my first year teacher staff picture up there because they're the ones we're using this year. That was just a year ago. Not honestly looking at my picture down here in the corner. Not a whole lot has changed. Um, grew up in Seattle. It's my second year at Erie, as I mentioned. I have a bachelor degrees in mathematics from the University of Montana. That's in Missoula. I loved going to school up in Missoula. I loved growing up in Seattle. Now I'm living down here in Denver. Been pretty fortunate. Lived in three pretty darn beautiful places. When I was in I was in Glacier quite a bit while I was in school at Montana. This is Virginia Falls. Picture of myself as well as my fiance. We got engaged about a month ago. Um, very, very exciting stuff for us, and such an exciting stage of life to be in. This is at the Virginia Falls and Glacier on the east side of the park, on the east side of the Going to the Sun Road. If you get the chance, it is amazing. Just something else. Those of you who have been there know what I'm talking about. On this trip, we saw a grizzly bear. Not very long after that. We also went to Jackson, Wyoming. This was before we headed up to Grand Tetons and Yellowstone. This picture of Hannah and myself and Hannah's dog Judah, who's a golden retriever. He's a year old and about 85 pounds, and man, that he is a wild hog at times. He's just a blast. And a picture of myself running. This was at the Jock and Jill Downhill Half Marathon in Boise, and I love getting the chance to represent Erie. This is probably the best picture of me running that's ever been taken. The photographer, got the picture right before the finish line, me throwing up a little peace sign as I came across the line there. So lots and lots of fun racing. I enjoy racing. I love coaching as well, as much as I get the opportunity. But enough about me. Let's got a little quote for us. This is a quote that's been a big inspiration to me. Any runners out there, I'm sure you know it, from the late great Steve Prefontaine: "To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice your gift." Something I believe in. I'm especially when we're in person and as much as I can online. Always just tell my students, trying your best, how important it is to try your best, give your best effort in everything that you do, whether it's in the classroom, on the field of competition, at work, at home, whatever you're doing. I just think it's so important to always try your best in whatever you're doing. Let's get into this. How am I involved at Erie? Well, obviously I teach geometry. You're here because I teach pre-calculus. And then I coach cross country and track. Did a little bit of what we're in each one, talking transformations in geometry, talking the unit circle, which I'm going to go on a ledge you may have heard quite a bit about over the first couple weeks of the school year, or more recently, I should say, this unit circle. And then we're in the cross country season. Just been so thankful to have that cross country season going this year, and it's just been special being able to have that in the midst of everything else going on. I also threw my email as well as my WebEx link on here as well. So what's pre-calc about? I threw up our course description, complex number system, talking a little bit more about polynomials and rational expressions, operations with functions. Right now we're hitting hard on trig functions. The unit circle, especially, that we're about to have that test coming up on the 28th, 29th, depending if you're A day or B day, and applications of trig as well. This is our math progression map. So math is a little unique from the other departments where we determine what class a student is taking the next year. So at the end of this first semester, beginning of the next semester, we'll have those one-on-one meetings with students, just saying, hey, what do you want to do next year? How do you feel about this class? What do you want to go to school for when we're in pre-calc? Which is one of the reasons why I got into teaching, is for those conversations, to be part of that next step in a student's life. But prerequisite is Algebra 2, and pre-calc is a really great class to take because it can feed into AP Stats, it can feed into Stats Finite, and it can feed into AP Calculus. So you really have your options open with pre-calc, and it's just such a great class to take. Personally, think back to my pre-calc class, and and what it meant for me. In this class, I'll take a short second to plug graphing calculators. Um, they need them for this class especially. And so the TI Inspire is available through self-service on the iPad right now. It's like their most advanced graphing calculator, but they won't have their iPad on test day. So I'd recommend picking up a graphing calculator. You can get one on eBay, you can get one on Amazon, you can get one at Walmart, um, anywhere and everywhere. Uh, and then our homework assignments, try to keep them 30 to 45-minute range. That is always the goal with those homework assignments. I'm going to come back to this image here later on. How we're doing on time? Ooh, man, we're cooking through our time. All right, let's get this moving. Video lessons. That basic course structure, I try to make video lessons going into every lesson, or into every class period. So flipped lesson format. They watch the video before they come into class. Then in class, we do a little warm up, homework corrections, answer questions from the lesson. Answering questions about the homework. Break into our asynchronous time, and then we're going to go back to our exit ticket at the end of class. Big spots that students are losing points right now would be not submitting their homework as a PDF. That's the first thing. And the second spot is exit tickets. Got a lot of students who aren't doing their exit tickets right now, and those are free points. It's all participation based. So just a good reminder to give your students is, hey, class is wrapping up. Did you get your exit ticket done? Stuff like that. Of course, we have our Friday quizzes. That's how we take attendance. Students have 2 attempts on those quizzes. Should only take them 30, 35 minutes tops. Um, they just need to get 1 attempt done on Friday between 9 and 2 o'clock, or 8:55 and 2 p.m. to be counted as present on that day. That second attempt they have up until the day of the test to get done. So second attempt, it's based off of highest score, and lots of students have not used or taken advantage of that second attempt. So another thing that we could really emphasize, and I would love your help on at home, just bringing back up to them, hey, I know you didn't do too well in this quiz. Did you get a second attempt in? That's only for the unit that we're in. So unit 0 doesn't count, but unit 1 quizzes, they're fair game. All right. Where can you find these materials? That's what I held on to that other slide for. So your students are going to see this middle column on Schoology, and I tried to, lost it for a second, tried to break it up a little bit, but I organized by unit. And so, your warm-ups are going to be on here. The slides, the lesson slides that are used are posted on there. I post the video links. I post the completed notes. So when I go through and write and annotate on my iPad, I post those notes as well. So they all correspond. The homework, the submission folders, the exit tickets, they're all in this folder. And then the Friday quiz can also be found here in the Friday quiz folder. I also post the answer keys on there, just for good study material going into the test. Talk real quick about Infinite Campus as we wrap up here. I didn't want to keep us over 10 minutes. I know I'm pushing up against that number right now. But Infinite Campus is where all of our official grading is. For myself, I grade primarily through Schoology. If a student turns an assignment in late, if they have an excused absence and the deadline's extended to the next class, if we talked about getting them a homework extension, if we trying to think of other examples. Oh, if a student didn't turn an assignment in as a PDF. All those like discrepancies or like lost points on a homework assignment or a quiz or warm-ups or whatever, I'll put those notes into Schoology, and students can access those notes through the submission folder on Schoology. So if they go to that assignment, they click on that assignment in their gradebook, pull it up, there will be a little notepad. And so if they're ever like, why did I get 3 out of 5? They can usually find that answer right on there. Typically it's like submitted late or didn't submit as a PDF or incomplete, stuff like that. And so if they ever want to make up those points, they're certainly welcome to reach out to me. Oh, and you can check out the syllabus for additional material on grading. So as we wrap up, just what can you do as a parent? Number one, using those resources of Infinite Campus and Schoology. If you ever see a big discrepancy, just reach out to me. I'm happy to take care of them or answer any questions like that. Encouraging your students, especially now more than ever, just to really, really stay engaged during our WebEx sessions, staying on their crafts, staying on top, staying organized. I think now is such a great time to have a planner, have a calendar that they use. I use the calendar in Schoology to post all of our assignments, so they can certainly use that one. And I think probably more than anything, encouraging them to reach out to me, to stay on during our asynchronous time, to ask questions during class, to use that time to ask those questions, especially when we're in like small group or a one-on-one setting at the end of a WebEx meeting. Um, and then our final thing is just reaching out. Reaching out to myself. Email's the best way to get a hold of me. On that note, I threw on my email, my phone number with my extension, my Schoology page, and my Calendly link. If you ever need to set up an appointment with me on a Friday or get a hold of me some other way, it's all on here. Um, just want to say thanks. Here's a picture of Hannah and myself at the Delicate Arch. Oh, if you haven't been to Arches, oh, I'd recommend it. It's only like a 6-hour drive across the state to Moab. Whew, it is so much fun. The Delicate Arch is like a 3-mile round trip hike, and it is so worth it. As you can see here, you can march right on out there, and it is otherworldly out there. If you get the chance, I would recommend. But thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming to Back to School Night. Thank you so much for your patience and your grace this year. It has been so helpful and so appreciated on my part. If you have questions, just reach out. If not, well, until the next time I talk to you, have a good rest of your night. Take care, and I'll see y'all later.